Have you ever wondered, despite your best effort at healing, it feels like nothing is happening? You've tried recommendations from friends, you've tried everything they've suggested, and yet nothing is working. And to make matters worse, all around you, everyone is saying, oh, they are better. They no longer flinch when they remember the hurt. They've forgiven themselves, they've forgiven those that hurt them, they've learned to move on. And you're wondering, why is this not happening for me? What am I doing wrong? Because somehow you still stay thinking, how did I get myself in this mess? You still flinch at the thoughts of what happened, or when you hear a familiar sound. You still play the scenarios. Hurt is still very palpable. And you're wondering, will I ever be okay? I hear you and I see you. Here's one thing I would like to point out. Having worked in this field for a while, sometimes we lose sight of the fact that our healing is very personal. That it worked for A doesn't necessarily mean it will work for B. Because our healing is sometimes tied to the season we are in, to our individuality, and to the context of our personal lives. There was a season in my own life when I could never abide confrontation, hard conversation. So I will be in a meeting, agreeing with everything. Not because I really agreed with them. Or there will be hard conversation to be had. I take the easy way out.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'll consider it.
I shrink to accommodate every other person because I couldn't handle the tension from hard conversation. But as I grew, I opened up myself to healing. I realized this is not working. If I am going to make any progress, this particular behavior is very limiting. I had to narrow down, what do I really need to work on here? And in partnership with the Holy Spirit, I started putting in the work. And one day, the Holy Spirit said to me, well, it's time to use it. And so there was this opportunity that came up. And I was going to, just say, oh,
That's fine.
he said, no, no, this is not the time to do that's fine. You have to speak up. You have to disagree. It's not working for you. So say what you think. It was not an easy thing to do. But I can tell you for a fact, it was a game changer for me. And what other thing that happened is this. Because our brain conditions us in the season we are in, it protects us. So just like a device will shut down certain functionality just to survive. When the battery is going low, this is how our body works. Our brain will shut down certain things just to make us survive. So in those seasons, you wouldn't be in your full functionality. But as far as you put in the work or recognize at least this is what the situation is with me, and I am willing to do what it takes, the brain is revived again. The brain learns a new thing. The brain, in partnership with the Holy Spirit or with any professional you're working with, begins to tailor you towards wholesome healing. In my experience working with people that are navigating healing, repeatedly, I've noticed that once we are able to niche down to say, well, this is what we need to work on in this season at this time, the pathway to healing is often very simple and easy to navigate. So here's what I need you to do for yourself. I want you to take the time, in all honesty, and ask yourself, what is this one thing that I need to do this time, in this season, that is peculiar to me? It doesn't have to look like another person's journey. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to feel like you're making progress, as long as it is what serves you in this season. So it might be something like, how do I forgive myself? How do I look people in the eye? How do I learn to say no? Because the burden of trying to please everyone is sucking the very life out of me. It might be just to feel safe in your person again. It might be just to let yourself know that, yes, it happened. Yes, you were broken. Yes, you were hurt. But now, this is me. Taking it one step at a time. You have to define it for yourself, what your healing looks like. So here's the thing I'm leaving you with, that you first of all take that singular step to define for yourself what your healing looks like. I pray for you that God gives you the clarity to know what you really need in this season, because sometimes you don't know it. And then that He grants you the wisdom to know what to do. Do you need to reach out to a professional? Is it an inner work you need to do? Is it more time with the Holy Spirit? The courage. Healing requires courage, because you're going to look certain things in the eyes, things that, frightened you before. You will look them in the eyes, you will confront those giants. And finally, the abundance of God's Spirit to hold you, to sustain you, and to carry you through this season. For me, I see healing as having an end goal, an end product of the kind of person you want to be. Maybe you are someone God is calling into ministry, but you can't even look at an audience of two. But life has broken you so much. So your healing, your wholesome healing will be that you will choose, in partnership with the Holy Spirit, to walk your way from where you are now to becoming the version that you were created to be. It's a choice.